Ludicrous Feed is proudly sponsored by My Car, Tyre and Auto, Carloop, data to empower Australia's EV revolution, and Hankook, driving emotion. Hey everyone, I'm Tom from Ludicrous Feed. Thanks so much for joining us. Today we're reviewing an e-bike. That's right, not a four-wheel vehicle, but a two-wheel vehicle, electric nonetheless. And this is courtesy of our friends at Lug+Carrie. They are a bike subscription service. They also supply e-bikes like this one. This is a Tern Vektron S10. I'll talk about the bike a bit later on. But Lug+Carrie, it's an Australian company, founded in 2019. It's got stores all across the East Coast in Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. And they do weekly e-bike subscriptions from $49 a week, which is actually quite good value if you think about it. An e-bike is about $5,000 on average for a good one. So that's about 2 years worth of subscription right there if you don't want to commit to an e-bike like this. So they specialize in commuter bikes and also, I suppose, recreational bikes as well. So check out lugandcarry.com. I'll leave details in the video description below. But let's focus now on this bike, which is the Tern Vektron S10. Now forgive me, I don't know too much about bikes, more about cars as you know, but from what I hear, Tern is actually a very good company. I chose this bike to review because it's foldable, as you can see. So that's the benefit of this bike. So I guess the focus of this video is to show you that bikes can be useful as a last mile vehicle or last mile e-mobility solution. So for example, if you really want to use the metro in Sydney, which is a nice new public transport system, but you kind of need to get to the metro, or you need to get from the metro to work or wherever, then this is where a bike can be quite useful, especially if it's foldable like this. So obviously we've got the space here in my garage, but if you live in an apartment, then this is also very useful because you can just store it away somewhere. It's very compact, and as I'll show you later on, we can put this into a boot as well of a car. So that's the Vektron S10 from Tern. It's got a 400 watt hour Bosch battery and also motor as well. So the battery sits here, just there below the seat. And I'll show you where the charge port is. It is, once I work out where it is, I think on this side. So let me just swivel the bike around this way. So the charge port is right there, okay? So it only takes a few hours to charge to full. And they do recommend, I think it's NMC batteries, so you probably only need to charge to 90% most of the time, as you do with all NMC batteries. It's also got a lock as well there. So that's the Tern, and it's got about 100 k's of range apparently. Depends on how you ride the bike, obviously, but that's probably based on average commuter riding. And it retails for about, like I said, $5,000 for this bike, and it's quite easy to fold and unfold, which I'll show you in a second. So let's do that right now. Let's unfold it. So first of all, let's undo the handlebars. So let's just undo the strap here. And it literally just flicks up like this. And this clasp locks it in, okay? And then these levers here, so that you can actually rotate the handlebars to whatever position you feel comfortable with, like that. So I'm just gonna lock it like that. We'll check it out and make sure it's the right fit for me in a second. And then down here, just see this round silver disc. That disc is magnetic, so the two wheels clamp together magnetically. It's pretty strong too, but you can also undo it pretty easily, like that. So that's how you undo it. I'm doing it very slowly, obviously, just to demonstrate how it works, but it's actually quite quick, which I'll show you once I do and sort of set it up and bring it down again for you. And then just rotate this around like that. Okay, and then there's a clasp here, just there. So once you get the two ends together, lock it in, right? And you can actually rotate this all the way around like that. It is 22 kilos, like I said, so I wouldn't want to carry this too much, but it's light enough for me to carry upstairs or whatever if I'm commuting. Yeah, I feel like this is the correct way. Yeah, so again, you can undo these. Okay, so there we go. Now I've got it right now. So it didn't feel right before, but now you clamp it down like this, there. Again, not generally a bike person, so if I can do it, you can do it too. Okay, that was our car locking, you can hear there. Okay, so that's basically it. I'll just double check this is on. Yep. Yep, so they're all pretty easy to use, those clasps and locks. I think that's correct. I think that's correct. And then you can see here the seat tube, there's 2 positions. So if you're a really tall rider, so 147 centimeters to 195 centimeters, that's the height. And then 120 kilogram carry for rider capacity. So it's not too bad. Now I'm at number 6. So I'm gonna put number 6 here for my height. See that numbers here? And numbers for this tube as well, so you can remember those numbers. I'm 6 and 12. And generally speaking, for a bike, from what I hear, is that you want to be, as you're on the seat, you want to be just on tippy toes on the ground there. So that's enough so you don't get knee pain as you're riding. And then again, like I said, with these clamps, you can actually adjust how you want. So I'm probably comfortable there, right? So once you're comfy there, then you can flip it down like that. Bell, obviously. And then you've got here a display, LED display. So let's just turn that on right now. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Battery status there. And you can adjust what mode you want. So I'm going to have it on maybe just Tour, maybe, or Eco. So I'm going to be riding pretty gently, or you can just have the motor off, so you can just ride it like a normal bike as well. And there's also a lamp here, so that's on already, I think. Yes, it is, good. And there's a light at the back as well, so I'll just roll forward like this. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward, I think. And then the 2 brakes. Yeah, so that's pretty much a walkthrough of the bike. What I'll do now is show you how easy it is to fold. Let me just turn this off there. Yep. Okay. So to fold the bike, first things first, you want to undo this clasp here. So that one, so pull that open, and then the bike will fold like that in half. And remember those magnetic discs I showed you earlier? So what I do is I'm going to turn the wheel this way so that this cord doesn't catch itself. So if I go this way, it'll just get twisted, right? So if you twist the front handlebars this way, and then I just rotate the bike like that. You've got to put your seat tube down, otherwise the handlebars will collide with the seat, which you don't want. And then the 2 discs. So, okay, so there we go. There, and it can rest on the ground too. Whoop. Rest on the ground with this little pedestal. Where is it? There it is, pedestal there. So you've got to support it still a little bit, but at least you can rest as you're doing that. And then the last thing is to put the handlebars down again, so that clamps goes down like that, and that just folds diagonally down. Done. And if you find this is touching, the handlebars are touching other parts of the bike, you can undo this clamp and just rotate it forward like that. So that way you're pretty flush with the bike. And then last thing is the strap. So the strap can just rotate a bit more. There. So that makes for a very compact bike. And that is actually standing by itself. That's not resting on the pedals. So see, that's quite balanced. It's not bad, right? And I'm only a little bit out of breath because obviously if you do it often enough, you get used to how to do this, but that's essentially all folded up. So there it is, the Vektron S10 from Lug+Carrie. Okay, and I'll lift it up for you now. See, again, not too heavy. Very compact. Just jump out of the light there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now show you how easy it is to put it into a boot of just a standard size family SUV, and then we'll go for a ride after that. All right, so that's the subscription service, Lug+Carrie, Australian company, and it's got an alarm fitted as well with the bike, so that's extra level of security. And they've also given me this accessory kit as well. So this can actually see attached to the front of the bike. You can see in that picture there if you wanted to, via an attachment there. So that's like a click fix, it's called, proprietary, easy way to put it on the front of the bike if you don't want to carry a backpack. And by the way, there's no contract with Lug+Carrie, so yeah, I guess it's a good way to try an e-bike if that's suitable for your lifestyle, I guess. All right, so let's pack the bike into the boot. So this is a fairly standard family-sized SUV. 20 kilograms, like I said. So it's insubstantial in weight, but you know, I'm not the strongest guy in the world, but reasonably fit for my age. So I think I was able to carry that into the car like that. So that's not too bad. It's an incentive to get fit, I guess, and strong. Yeah, that's good. Let's try closing it. Make sure I can shut first before I'm too happy. Let's see, there it is in the boot. Okay, well, I think it's time to go for a ride. Let's do it.
Next stop, Wollstonecraft. This station points.
Alright, so it looks like they're still constructing the Sydney Harbour Bridge Cycleway ramp, but hopefully we can get onto the cycleway regardless. I see a cyclist there carrying his bike down, so I'll just have to carry it up the steps for now. This could be interesting. Alright, let's see how this goes. This is a ramp here, right? I think there's a walk function as well. Let's see. Let's give this a go. There we go. I guess the walk function definitely does help. A lot harder without it, let me tell you. Oh, get some exercise, they said. Go outdoors, they said. I'm outdoors now. Alright. That walk function was quite handy. Okay, I might go tour. G'day. All right, what have you? Hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing. I'm just going to cycle through these gears. Okay, so there's actually 10 speeds on this bike. It's literally, I don't know whether you can see what I'm doing, so up and down with my right hand, up the gears and down, so pretty easy actually. So let me just find, that's about right. It's pretty flat, so probably afford to go a bit faster. I'm going at 16 k's an hour currently. Wow. Ooh, it's a bit chilly. Okay, so that was worth the climb up the steps. Thank goodness for that walk mode. Amazing. Okay, so now I'm like on the highest gear. I'm barely doing any pedaling. The motor's doing most of the work. Let's have a bit of fun, hey? Sport mode. It's the highest one. Turbo, whoa. Oh my goodness. I'm going at 23 k's an hour. Okay, better slow down. Someone else coming. Jeez. Look at this. I must admit, I've lived in Sydney most of my life. That would be 35 plus years now. Almost 40 years, really. No, not quite 40. Somewhere between 35 and 40 years living in Sydney. Always wanted to cycle across the Sydney Harbour Bridge. It's kind of in my bucket list. Isn't it funny when you're a local? You don't do the touristy things, but I'm going at 26, 27 k's an hour. Pedaling reasonably, pretty forcefully. There's no one in front of me. This is insane. And I guess I'm getting some exercise too. Alright, someone's coming this way. I better slow down. Let's pedal off. Let's go back to tour. A couple of kids coming. Wow, this is amazing. What a great day. Highly recommend this activity, by the way. E-bike or otherwise. Let's check out the strength of this bell. My goodness. Now I'm going downhill. So, yeah, not doing much work. Fantastic. How good is this? Wow. You know what? I might stop to take a photo. Photo for the thumbnail. Let's see what I can do here. How funny, I'll just reduce the gears here. I'm such a poser, in more ways than one. Alright, amazing. Well, that didn't take too long at all. Not on this thing anyway. Ooh. That's right, two-wheelers. Suspension's not as good as a four-wheeler. I have to understand that. Alright, so my next mission now, if you are watching this far, is that we are going to try to find the Barangaroo metro station. So that shouldn't be too far away. Then we can just metro it back to Crow's Nest, which is very close to the St. Leonard station where I started my journey. I must admit, this is a lot of fun. Getting out and about, fresh air. I'll be fresher of the cars with EV, right? But hey, can't complain just yet. 10% new car sales last month for EVs, so that's promising at least. But fresh air nonetheless, here in my beautiful hometown of Sydney, across the bridge. Can't get more quintessential Sydney than that. Quintessential Sydney. It's hard to talk in the wind. Amazing. So obviously I'm just drifting now at 26, but I was pedaling at 26 up a slight incline, right? I am by no means a cyclist, so that was definitely power assisted by the Bosch motors and the batteries, so good. Alright, the video is not over. We will go find the Barangaroo station. We might have to ask people for directions, but we will definitely get down to Barangaroo. Slow right down. G'day. Alright, here we go. I'm going to aim towards that building, that Crown Casino building, obviously. That's Barangaroo station. Okay, so let's go find this metro station. As I said, aiming for that Crown building. So hopefully we can pedal our way over. This could be interesting. Look at me, I am putting my hand out like a cyclist. Let's see whether this road goes anywhere. I think we're going the right direction. I like the nature of this 10-speed bike. You can go up and down as needed. Speed bump. I'm not a fan of cycling on the roads, I have to say. Even like a shared road, I'm not a big fan of. So, I mean, quiet streets like this, I guess it's acceptable, but I would prefer to be riding, obviously, on a shared path. Sorry, shared path with pedestrians, I suppose. How do I get down there? Do I use the steps? I guess so. Let's... Oh, alright. Carry this down, alright. So this might be a good example of what it's like to carry this bike. At least we're going down steps. So again, this is a 22 kilogram bike. Someone left their share bike on the steps there, as you do. And then I can just use the walk function, I guess, to power along. It's not too bad going downhill. I wouldn't want to do it going up, I must admit. Not out of breath yet. I can still hold a conversation with you guys. Right, so that's the price we're paying here in Sydney with our views and foreshores. We have steps, we have hills. I guess the powered bike didn't help me much on the steps, but I guess on the hills would be a useful thing to have. Well, I'm going to start pedaling at least here. I want to break the law, I want to cycle on the footpath. You can't do unless you are 16 and under, or if you're accompanying someone who's 16 and under. I think that's the rule. I'm not sure whether the cutoff is 16 or it's below 16. Okay, so now that's saying that way for the metro. Down steps, okay, down steps again. Hope you're enjoying watching me exercise, everyone. Like I said, at least it's downhill, or down steps. I don't really want to do this uphill. I can handle going down steps with a 22 kilogram bike. I'm sure there's a better way, but that's alright. Here for the channel, here for the people. Thank you, Lug+Carrie. Getting my exercise for the week. Look, I probably could have cycled around there. It's okay. Take a quick shortcut, at least it's downhill. I think if it was uphill I would have probably cycled up or down. Ooh. I wonder if I can roll it down the hill like this. Steps like this. No, it's too risky. Better carry it. Don't want to risk injuring it. Or myself, rather. There you go. I am on flat land and have a dedicated bike lane. Look at me, look how European I am today. Even some parts of China that I've been to had dedicated bike paths, so even China's ahead of us. Well, we know they're ahead of us in many regards, but you know, bike paths like this would be nice, right? If Sydney had bike paths like this, I'd probably cycle a lot more. Feels a lot safer. It was a lot safer. There's the metro right there. So there you go. I've shown you pretty much everything today. Shown you bike paths like this, first class. Trudging up and down stairs. Catching trains, now on the metro. I can zip across here real quick. There we go. I think this is a shared path. And we're going to hop onto the metro. Alright everyone, that is it from me. Tom from Ludicrous Feed. Normally on its four-wheel vehicle. Normally driving a four-wheel vehicle, but today riding a two-wheeler. Showing you all of Sydney's public transport on foot and on two wheels. Thanks for watching. Thank you for Lug+Carrie for providing me a loan of this beautiful bike. The Tern Vektron S10, what a great bike. Until next time on Ludicrous Feed, it's happy charging.
So
This stop is Victoria Cross. Train doors opening.
Okay, so here's an example of some shared paths. It's legit, I can actually ride on this. Pedestrian and bikes, not ideal, I know, but it's better than riding on the road, I suppose. Just gotta be careful of driveways. Leaf blowers. Alright, let's pedal up. Up the gears. Not too hilly, but oh, there's a bit of a hill coming up. But man, this thing just makes short work of hills so good. That's why you buy an e-bike, I think. There's recreational cycling, and then there's just like commuting cycling, right? Where you just want to get through your last mile, so to speak. That's what Sydney needs more of, just sensible riders. Maybe e-scooters supposed to be on the cards for New South Wales to be legalised, so we'll see. We'll see. Alright. See, this slight hill, I know, probably could have tackled it normally with a bike, but hey, why suffer? Why stress? And I'm on pretty high gear too, might bring it down. Okay, there's a bit of a, tiny bit of a hill coming in. Again, not really. But it does help a lot having a powered bike, of course. Right, let's cross the road here. Right, here we are. Alright everyone, thanks for watching once again.